Yo, could you just appreciate how awesome Final Fantasy VII Remake is? I'm still like halfway through the first game, like FF7 Remake on the PS4. I would continue it, but honestly, I want to get it on PC just to play it properly. But I don't have it on PC, so I don't have a PC that can really play it properly. So until then, I'm just not going to play Remake, Rebirth, or the new one, Reunion. No, Ooh, I can't remember what the new one's called, but yeah, the new one got announced recently, right? But man, it's just so cool. I gotta play it eventually. But oh well. And in the meantime, I'm making my own games. I was at my so my siblings have arrived basically in the UK. They're visiting me. I mean, not just me, but they are here visiting, and part of that includes me. As you would hope from your siblings. And yeah, so last night I woke up at 2 a.m. for God knows what reason. And so, you know, in natural fashion, when you wake up at 2 a.m., what do? You go ahead, make a full Tic-Tac-Toe clone on command line, and then you go ahead and make Pong as well, in a completely new programming language that you've never used before. So that is literally bar for bar what I did. So let me go ahead and show this off, because it is pretty cool actually. Hold on, I was also working on my CV today. I gotta get back to that, but let me. Yikes! How do I do this then? Move here, switch here. Good. Okay, right. So if I go neovim, no, CD projects first of all slash Tic-Tac-Toe. It's not there because I moved it because I finished it in one sitting. Inactive. There it is. And yeah, so let's go ahead and just run it first of all, right? I guess that's probably the best way to show it off. So /Tic-Tac-Toe. You can see here, CLI, meaning command line interface, meaning like in the terminal, made from scratch in C++ by Kojo Bailey. I did use C++ by the way. I could have used Rust or something, but I felt like it was simple enough to do in C++, so, and it was, so I was like, cool. Yeah, so I can play against a computer or a player. Let me do computer first. Let's say I want to go first. Okay, so enter your coordinates. As you can see here, it prints a grid with A's, B, C, and 1, 2, 3. So if I want to go like here, top left, I do A1. So you can see I did there. And then the computer chooses where to go. Now, there's no AI yet, so the computer does actually just choose randomly. But hey, it's better than nothing, right? And maybe I'll do an AI later. So let me go B2. It's probably good. Okay, they've gone there. Which actually means they've now forcefully trapped themselves. So I'm going to go C3, no, A3. Let's not mess up the coordinates here. AI's gone over there. So I'm going to go ahead and win A2. And I can play again. Let's press no. And let's go ahead and relaunch again the project. This time against a player. And here, yep, you just do players against each other, right? So I can do A1. And then I see the next player who's O goes B2. And then I choose to go probably C3 would be good. And then O goes, O's a smart player. They don't make mistakes. They're gonna go A2. So I'm gonna go C2 to block them. Then they're gonna go C1 to block me. And then I need to go A3 to block them. And then they need to go B3 to block me. That's correct. And then go to B1. And we have a stalemate. It's a draw. So that is the game. Obviously, Tic-Tac-Toe is fairly simple. And in fact, all the source code for this project here is all in one file. So as you can see, I got a bunch of includes here because there's quite a bit. I mean, overall, if I go to the bottom, there's about 400 lines of code, which isn't that much. Yeah, so I mean, first of all, like the first 20 lines are just boilerplates. I've got all these includes, and then I've got these aliases because why not? I'm also using this. I don't think it's too controversial, honestly, especially because Rust really has this as a thing. I think it's pretty, as far as macros go, I feel like this is pretty chill. I would not use this. Well, actually, to be fair, I probably would use this in a normal project. This is the first time I've really used it properly, and I'm just testing it here because I was like, yeah, it might be cool, and yeah, it is pretty cool, and obviously pretty inconsequential. Obviously, if you're making like a bigger project with other people, then whatever, but since I'm doing it as a personal project, I don't care. I thought it'd be fun, and it is. So that is out. This is just a buffer. I got my game states here. So setup stage, X turn, O turn, X win, O win, draw. You have the play mode for player and computer. The undecided is for loop breaking stuff to just avoid having to use extra flags. Nothing else really. I figured I might as well do that because why not? I have a whole class with the game board. right? So this is where OOP is pretty handy. I will touch on that later because my other project I was not able to use OOP. I mean, not OOP necessarily, like classes and stuff. Basically, like encapsulation is quite handy, and I couldn't use that in my other project, so I really do appreciate this now even more in retrospect. Yeah, so I got my cell type, empty, X or O, using an enum. Some people just use chars, but you know, I want to be idiomatic here. And you go to conversion function there, since you can't do it like you can in Rust. Making use of standard unreachable, very cool. Could even argue that this should be in the default case, but considering that these are all three cases, I think it's fine. Game board, yeah, got the structure there. Reset using ranges to fill, pretty cool. Got a whole like bunch of printing things going on here. Nothing too crazy, but just worth pointing out, I guess. Because the printing and like the formatting was one thing I was trying to figure out. Placing, I think this is the most complicated logic in the entire thingy. This just places a cell, places a symbol in a cell, but it uses the coordinate system. So it needs to decode it and also return errors if they're invalid. So here you can see like I'm using standard unexpected within lambdas, right? With like standard invoke, very cool. And then I do that to like error check. And in total that's like 130 lines of code. No, I'm lying. In total it's 48 lines of code, which is quite a lot, honestly. It's like it's more than a tenth of the file, right? So it's pretty significant. Check for winning. This I was also wondering how I would do it. All in all, it took 39 lines of code, so less, but like it just checks it exhaustively. Basically, it checks like, okay, like is this row, you know, the same thing? Is this row all the same thing? Is this column all the same thing? Are the diagonals all the same thing? Like it just does that. Maybe there's some like I was wondering if there's like another way to do it, but not really. Probably not. But also using standard ranges again with all of, very cool. Just, I don't know, helps you condense things, I guess. And some funky formatting going on, but all in all, pretty clean, I'd say. Get free cells, just checks what cells are free. We got some static stuff here. This is the first time I'm using SZ as well for size. Like in Rust, you have USZ, I think, for size. Yeah, just thought it'd be cool, and I do appreciate it, instead of having to write standard size T every single time. Yeah, but get row, get cell. As you can see, I'm using const expert, no discard. You know, trading function types, using really good C++ here, and then just conversion there with standard unreachable being used essentially here, like the way like you have to necessarily, I should say. Then I have a game class, just to like kind of wrap the logic. Like you don't need a game class per se, because you could just treat the entire project as your game, but it just kind of helps you like kind of like manage it better, and then you can, yeah, you'll see in a second when you see my main function. But yeah, here's the run, just the main logic here. It checks like user input and then like errors on that stuff. Lots of switch statements used here. You can see I have a loop there, right? I'm using the loop thing, which is while true, as I showed before, and then all this kind of stuff. That's 90 lines, so I guess that's the biggest function, but I don't really count that. And then you got the handle player turn here, just kind of modularizing it so it's a bit easier to think about. Got the RNG going on here, which I used previously in BOGO search. Shout out BOGO search. So I remembered how to do that, how to use RNG from that, and that's how the AI makes moves right now. And then you have the main function. You can see here it prints the start there. It initializes a new game state. Again, like this could just be like at like the application level, like statically whatever. But I don't know. Really, it's kind of just up to you, really. Should force quit. Yeah, just like checks if the user wants to quit or not, and then after it finishes, it resets the game. So like I could do this other ways, like instead of I have like a reset game function that, you know, like acts on global variables instead, but I thought that just bringing in a class again, like you could go either way. I just did this because I chose to. I don't have a strong preference for either. But yeah, that's Tic-Tac-Toe. Pretty cool, very self-contained, and I did post it on GitHub down here somewhere. Yeah, Tic-Tac-Toe, not some crosses. Yeah, pretty straightforward. And then the other project I was working on, which is arguably looks a bit cooler than Tic-Tac-Toe, although I am quite glad, because like Tic-Tac-Toe is something I've been wanting to do for a while, so I am glad to have finally done it. I don't know why I decided to do it at 2 a.m., but I think part of it was actually, yes, that's right, I had a dream, as I tend to, and one of the dreams, well, not one of the dreams, but part of the dream was me watching this YouTube channel where basically, how do I describe this? Okay, so imagine like it's a fish tank, right? Like this person has a fish tank. The person doesn't show their face, but every video there's some like new thing like hooked up to the fish tank that's like doing something cool. But the thing is, the technology that's hooked up to the fish tank isn't necessarily like necessarily strongly related to the fish tank. Like maybe it'll be some like Wi-Fi security protocol thing that just happens to be connected to the fish tank for some reason. But basically these videos would be fairly short, and they would showcase like a very simple project, and then they would link the source code so that you could look at it, and it would usually be like a fairly cool complex project, but like in a very like small source code, which I thought was pretty cool. So when I woke up from that dream, I was like, damn. Well, first actually I asked Claude. Does this exist? Yeah, I think I've gone too far. But yeah, I asked Claude, like, does a channel like this exist? And that led me down to a few websites like this thing, Build Your Own. So like now I want to try making a Sudoku, and there are other different things here as well that I can try. Got me back on like some other websites like Raylib as well. Reminded me about that, which I'll show in a second. There's Codecrafters.io for building your own things. Part of that includes the current course I'm doing. Guide, I guess. Sorry, I'm not even showing my screen. This is the coding challenges. But well, one of the things for Codecrafters was making your own locks, right? The crafting interpreters was featured there too. So I'm already following that, which is great. But basically, I was really fed up with like coding so much for so many years at this point, but feeling like I haven't really created anything particularly substantial, you know? Like if you look at my actual featured projects here, I have a unfinished library, C++ library. I have this project which is in progress, but currently, you know, like is still in development. And when I finish it, like it'll be like the product of a tutorial. It won't be my own language yet. So like if I was to like show this to employers, it's just like I followed a course, unless like I actually made something unique, you know? So I guess it was cool. This I'm about to showcase. Even like the CLI calculator in OCaml, like it's cool, but like it's very simple and very much just for learning purposes, you know? Like it's not like a practical tool. Kaizen is probably the most cool thing I'm doing, like practically speaking. So that one I want to cut on. And also to be fair, this website for Kojo modding is also very cool, although also like not super complicated. You know, like it's a static website. So like I really want to get back on doing actual things and like creating actual like useful tools and things. So Tic-Tac-Toe I made because I wanted to just try that, like make a small self-contained project quickly and just get it out the way, because it's something I want to do for a long time. And it's cool just having a functioning Tic-Tac-Toe there that people could play if they wanted to. I mean, obviously it's not particularly great, but it's there. Maybe I could like remake it in Raylib at some point. And now, the other thing I did today was this. So CD Pong Odin. Now Odin is a programming language, you might have heard of it, and it's pretty cool, although it does... Like, okay, sorry, let me rephrase. It seemed cool when I first saw it, and I was quite excited to use it, but now upon using it, I've changed my mind. I don't like it. So let me go ahead and just run the application, first of all. You can see here's Pong. I could be my mouse. I have W and S to move my paddle there, and the arrow keys to move it here. Hopefully it's not too laggy, so you can actually like get a bit of a peek at what's going on. But yeah, I mean, it's Pong. It's not super faithful to the original, and there are some clipping issues which I'm aware of. Hence why that just managed to clip through my paddle. But like, it does work, and this was made with Odin and Raylib. Yeah. Now again, like, there are bugs which I may or may not fix. I haven't really decided yet. Like, that shouldn't happen, like, ever. I'm not even sure how that happens, because the code really shouldn't like allow that to happen. From what I understand, but yeah, I might revisit that. But I mean, honestly, I think it looks cool. You know, like, obviously it looks very primitive, but like, considering this is like literally just an application running from pure Odin, you know, no, okay, like, that was fucked. Like no game engine or anything, unless you count Raylib as a game engine. But I mean, like, no like GUI editor or whatever. Like, it was purely scripted, which I think is pretty cool. Because, you know, I'm coming from like a Scratch background, Unity background, so like creating like an actual game that runs this smoothly too, it's nice. And like, Pong's pretty cool too, because like, it looks very simple, so like, it's pretty easy to make it look professional. And I feel like my Linux window manager is doing a lot of work here to making it look particularly good. I think I can even move this window around, have it as like a screensaver. But yeah, so that's Pong. And if you look at the source code, you've got mainnet Odin here. Now, Odin is very, although it doesn't look it, it's very C-like, which you will see in a second. Yes, I got game. I'm importing game, and then I'm accessing it here with game.start is accessing that library, that import. Sorry, the game import, because I have that in like a different package, you could say. I'm using Raylib, so I import Raylib as a vendor there. It's supported officially. Got like my constants here, which is an interesting way to define constants, and then the rest of it is just like Raylib stuff. Raylib is consistent across all languages, so that's not particularly interesting to look at. It's more Odin, like, I mean, like, when you want to look at Odin. This is also interesting how like the way you define constants and functions, and as you see later, structs and enums all use the same syntax, but like, if it's a procedure, you type proc. If it's enum, you type enum. If it's a struct, type struct. If it's a constant, you just put the number, right? Which is pretty cool. I don't know why variables aren't the same, but yeah. Anyway, no semicolons too. Like, syntactically, I do find this quite interesting, but like, in other ways, I don't like it. It has defer like Zig, which is, you know, like, it's okay. Like, I'm not like against defer per se, but I also do like RAII, even though it is implicit. And then here's actual game. You can see here I've got my game struct. Now, annoyingly, even though it's the big 26, you cannot have methods inside structs, nor can you implement methods for structs. Like in Rust, like, at least you can implement them. Here you can't. Like, you just cannot. So I got my struct here, my enum here. As you can see, we've got trailing types rather, as well as trailing return types. So like, in some ways it's quite rusty, in other ways not at all. This is cool. Pointers use this syntax. They use an actual pointer, a caret, as opposed to an asterisk, which I think is pretty cool. I mean, fairly minor, and like, it takes getting used to. But obviously, like, if you want to change something, that is quite a cool change, I'd say. Just like, for the sake of coolness, I don't know. You can see you pass this by reference. I can see like that is a consideration. Although the way you access pointers, like here I'm passing game as a pointer, but I access game just like as dot. Like this, like game dot paddle left, as opposed to like game this, or like there's no dereferencing it either, which I think is a bit interesting. Although it doesn't seem to make much of an impact right now. These ampersands are also for getting the address of something. It's not for dereferencing. It's just because I'm literally passing the paddle, the left paddle and the right paddle, and everything else is referenced. So that's why. And by as reference, I mean as by address, because they're pointers. Some funky stuff here as well with like formatting. Like, I need to define my own buffer and then like print into it the buffer, and then like wrap it in a C string so that I can make it compatible with Raylib. Some funky things, but like these functions here, rather than like making them part of the game struct, they're just freestanding functions like this that I call like start on a game minus a semicolon, of course, like this. Like this is how I do it. Whereas what I would like to do is, of course, game.start, right? So that is quite annoying, and I still haven't come to terms with that. And it's a real sense of friction here. Like for ball as well, like I can't make a constructor or anything, so I just have to do make ball, reset ball, draw ball, move ball, you know. And like conventionally, like it should be like ball move, but like I don't want to do that. Like if I'm gonna be forced to make a function, I want to write it in a way that actually makes sense. You know, like if I wanted ball move, you know, I would just do ball, like I would rather have ball dot move as syntax, you know. So that is really annoying. And yeah, like it means you have to pass things as well by reference a lot, or by pointers a lot, which is just a bit bloat. Obviously, you know, like otherwise you'd like this or this pointer, but like it's just paddle here as well, make paddle, same deal. So you know, it's cool, but I'm not a huge fan of it. Odin. So I probably won't continue with this. I'll probably just try out a different language instead that actually supports OOP. I was quite disappointed as well, because like Odin is supposedly really good. It's like aiming, or is at least like part of its niche. Not niche, but like part of its audience. A large part of its audience. Okay, there we go. Is like video game graphics and like game developers. But then it doesn't support objects with methods and like encapsulation, which are really useful things in game development. But I don't know, maybe it's like a different aspect of game development that other people appreciate more, but I do not. So that's what I've been up to today, literally today. I mean, the day's over now, it's past midnight, but that's what I did do. And you can see here the source code's here as well. Got some issues here, as well as some proposed fixes that I may or may not get around to. But yeah, you can see I started like 15 hours ago today. So honestly, I'm like I did a lot today, and that's cool. So what's next? You may be asking. Well, first of all, I need to get a bloody debugger for C++, so I can actually debug my programs. That's quite important. I want to get back on finishing RSLox, my Rust language thing. So that's also on my to-do list. I might get back to Samurai vs. Zombies 2 Kaizen at some point. I do want to get back to that project, because it's like a cool mod. As you can see, it has 7 stars, because it is like fairly anticipated within the Samurai vs. Zombies community. We're a small community of passionate people, because the game was slaughtered back in 2015. So very few people got to see it. I mean, I say that it had like millions of downloads, but like very few people seem to remember it, unfortunately. Even though it was like really popular back when it was around for like 2 years before it was delisted. It's really sad, but yeah, that's a really cool project I want to get back onto at some point. And like language wise, obviously I want to keep on pursuing Rust, so that's I'm doing anyway. Odin I'm done with. OCaml I'm also kind of done with. TypeScript and Java, Java I'm definitely done with. TypeScript I'll come back to when I get back to making another website at some point. Maybe, assuming I do that anyway. Maybe I'll go for WebAssembly instead though. Zig is a language I definitely need to try at some point. I just don't have a thing to use it for yet. I was thinking about using it for implementing a programming language, so I might get around to that at some point. There was another language for, I think, making a disassembler. I was thinking of using some low-level language. I can't remember which one it was though. Maybe it was Zig. Yeah, maybe it was Zig, because Zig would be good at that, I think. Otherwise, Rust or C++ would be fitting. Probably C++. So yeah, so maybe Zig I could use for that as well. Carbon doesn't exist yet. Go, I really don't know what I would use it for. It's garbage collected, so like as far as my interest goes in it, that's already kind of a hit. and the Primogen. The Primogen recently made a video where he announced that he wasn't using Russian Go anymore anyway either, because he didn't like the direction he was going in. So I don't know about that then. Name is interesting. Again, just like I don't know what I would use it for. Probably something similar to a Zig use case. Versatile use when I get my hands on Unreal Engine. Kotlin, I have nothing to use it for right now. Ruby for web development, I'll use it eventually. Curry, I don't know. Fortran, I don't know. Lisp is a whole bag of worms. Am I missing something? Or was that it? Yes, I guess that's it then. I mean, to be fair, I'm already using like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, like 15 languages. So it's quite, yeah. Like the goal isn't to learn loads of different languages, but I do want to explore things. Can my voice not crack for like 2 seconds? Oh, C3 is on this list. C3 is what I want to use. Yes, that's for sure. I have hopes for that. And I wonder how it compares to Odin. Also, like, these docs for Odin also kind of suck. Like, they're not super... They're not the best. Anyway. So I can close these now. Maybe I'll return to like a Raylib thing. I mean, I probably will, because, again, like, I want to get, like, on the Sudoku and stuff like that. And that I'll probably use Raylib for. Because Raylib is just pretty cool. Otherwise, there are other things I can use, like Bevy for Rust, maybe, and stuff like that. So that's also an option. But until then, yeah. Oh, something else I'm doing is making a CV. I want to find a good way to like make my CV, but I don't know yet. Like I have my YAML, I closed it, but like, yeah, I closed it, so never mind. Anyway, yeah, I just wanted to share that briefly, I guess. Yeah, so there's definitely a lot of different things I can be working on right now, including getting a job, by the way. But yeah, that is it. Oh yeah, also I gotta watch the C++ documentary at some point. I'll get around to that. But yeah, this issue is like right now with my C++ library, it's literally like bricked. Like I've tried to debug, like I can't debug it because I don't have good debugging tools. So I need to get a good debugger. Until then, I'm kind of just stuck with like errors. I don't know how to debug. For my logs parser, I'm also stuck on a bug that I can't really figure out. So that's also getting in my way. But you know, I mean, I could like ask like Claude to inspect my code and give me some advice, which is perfectly valid use of AI. So I could do that as well if I need to. It's just getting the motivation. I don't want to burn out. That's for sure. I definitely don't want to burn out because like these are really cool projects that I do actually want to see through. But I'm aware that I have a tendency to just stop doing things. But come on, like I gotta finish it. Oh, also, yeah, like I gotta start ricing my Arch Linux. Like it's been over a month now since I started using Linux, and I've barely touched like the ricing at all. Like I've bare minimum features. I can't even like shut down or log out or like lock my screen. I think I asked Claude like for advice on how to make a lock screen. Lock screen, Arch. Bruh. Lock. No. Lock. Sick. How do I see like all my chats? Is a thing I can do? Lock. Here you go. Yeah. Create a lock screen with Arch with Quicksell. Like Claude gave me this list of instructions that I can follow, so I want to get that going as well. Cause of all the things that I should have on my computer, definitely having a lock screen, so people can't just open my computer and like immediately access absolutely everything on my computer. That is no. That is no bueno. So I do want to sort that out as well. So yeah, like I said, a lot of different things I can be doing, but I'll get on that at some point. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of show what I've been doing today since I've been busy. outside. I didn't have my setup with me because I was at my aunt's house doing all this stuff at 2 a.m. So that's why I didn't record it. So I just thought I'd record it now. But yeah, there you go. If you have any ideas, by the way, hit me up. I'm always willing to try new things. Well, not always, but like I'm willing to hear out new things, the things I might potentially try. So if you have any ideas, let me know. Yeah. Until then, subscribe for more videos.